The Mind Buzz, now partnered with My Grito Industries.
3, 2, 1. What is up, gentlemen?
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Pretty good. How about you?
Dude, so what's going on with you guys? Santos, you walked in and no hug, no handshake. Dude, I was like, whoa, what is going on right now?
You would think we'd be like, hey. Like,
Yeah, or like, what's up? Or something.
You know, the way the Wayans brothers were in their show, every time they would hug. And,
Yeah.
You know, and now we just, hey,
give me a high five. Like, no, we're like, hey, that's it.
you know, I give him a smile, like I did this, like you were back, but I was like,
Yeah.
and that was it, you know? It's like, that's how it is.
Yeah, that's it, man. I mean, what do you look like, brothers? No, I'm more darker than it.
Yeah, I know.
That's true.
No.
Well, it's family reunion today on the Mind Buzz.
Family matters.
Family matters.
This is where you guys are gonna hash out anything here.
Because that's what we do on the Mind Buzz. We hash out things.
Like Jerry.
When is it going to be our turn to do that?
Never.
We do it every episode.
The show would not be airing after this. We did.
So what's going on, guys? How you doing?
Pretty good, man.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out and doing this.
Thank you.
This is your third time on the Mind Buzz?
Third time.
this is the second
It's
time.
his third time, okay? Since you don't know anything about your brother. It's his third time on the podcast.
No, I counted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I counted.
So how much younger are you than Santos?
Is it 7 or 8?
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the math.
I think it-
look, let's do the math right here. I'm 42.
Okay.
33.
Okay, what
No,
is
I'm
that?
not 42. I'm 41. Shit.
Dang. You're aging yourself, bro.
Yeah, I know I did, huh? But I'm going to be 42 this year. But yeah, I'm 41. He's
33. I'll
8
be
years.
there you go.
34
Okay.
There you
in
go.
June.
Boom.
He'll be 70 and you'll be 65 and he's still going to consider you his little brother.
The little brother.
Didn't
forever.
we discuss this the last time?
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, well, I mean, if with that, I think it's just a middle brother mentality.
Oh, okay.
Because my older brother, who's 2 years
Oh,
apart,
that's
in which
right.
he's on his way. He wanted to bring donuts to the show, so he'll be in a little bit. But for Carlos, I mean, he's like, oh, my little brother. So when people ask when I say my brother, like one of my coworkers, he was like, which one? So it's like just easy. Like I've always been like that. I think it's the middle brother. And plus, Mario says that shit. If you watch the Mario Brothers movie,
Oh, yeah.
he goes little brother.
I started laughing at that.
I'm watching. I'm like, yeah, you see, look at that.
Really?
I wanted to text. I saw the movie, and then that scene happens when Mario says, "My little brother," even though Luigi's taller than him.
Yeah.
Oh, they're brothers? Oh, Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah,
Duh.
what-
Okay.
what-
Yeah. Duh, I just thought of that.
Super Mario cousins or something.
relative, fucking neighbors.
Super Mario relatives?
neighbors.
Hey, they gotta watch out.
That was a Nintendo meeting. He was like, "Okay, all right, what should we call this? Super Mario relatives?" No, that ain't working.
That's too long.
The kids cannot spell that. What about brothers? Okay, let's just get rid of the TH. Let's just bros.
Bros,
The
yeah.
kids can spell bros.
But aren't they gonna say Mario Bros? No, it's okay. They'll say brothers. Watch, just leave it, and then boom, there you
That's
go.
how it happened.
So was that the philosophy behind naming your guys' podcast?
No.
Because they're actual brothers.
We were actually in that Nintendo meeting.
You overheard her like, okay, I know what not to do for my podcast.
Growing up, I would call him Bear, like Mr. Bear. So then he would call me Mr. Bear. That just became like, how lazy was that? I was like, I'm going to call him the same nickname he gave me. But that
The
just-
creative
yeah.
flow just
Yeah.
It's kind of
in the room.
like our neighbors did our childhood neighbors.
Uh-huh.
One of them, his name is David, and then the other one is Davis.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Oh.
the sisters, one's named Paula, the other one's Pauline.
Wow.
Try.
Well, I consider David and Davis like that's just like a miss key on the keyboard. Maybe it was like David number 2 and somebody miskeyed it.
The
Hey,
nurse.
but at least they freaking changed some syllables. I have an uncle, so these are my cousins. All 3 of his children are Roberto.
All 3?
All 3 are
How many years
Roberto's.
apart are they? Did they forget their names
Well,
of
he
their
had
other
them with
children?
different women, so
Oh.
I don't know. I guess that counts. But now they get together. Well, one of them passed away, but they get together and they're all Roberto, and Roberto.
Well, there's a scene in My Big Fat Greek Wedding when they show up, the parents, and this is Nick, Nicholas, and
Oh, yeah.
Nikki. So it's like it's kind of, and then they do that in Goodfellas too, where like everybody's named Maria, and it's like so it's in film. It happens in real life, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, how many years apart were the Roberts? Is it like
the oldest is the one that just passed away, and he was from the other one like 3 years, and then I think there's another 2-year gap. So they're not that far apart. And my uncle's name is Roberto too, so there's fucking 4 Robertos
God damn?
in that family. Yeah, I don't know.
That's too many.
That's too many.
So everyone has like their own like nickname that we gave them. So we don't call them all Roberto. It's like Bebo and stuff like that. Like
Do you
Yeah.
guys have nicknames? Do you have a nickname
Like based on like my parents
or
like,
whatever?
yeah, like with your family.
Well, there's two. So there's like with my family there was Chinito because I had curly hair, and fucking it's all bald now. But and then with Carlos was no what was
Charlie.
it? Yeah, Charlie, because I was
Charlie.
thinking Flaco was my older brother. So yeah, he was Charlie.
Yeah. So I had like my Nino. He would call me Charlie. I mean, I don't really see my mom's side of the family too often, but I still have deals that call me Charlie, and it still throws me off. I'm like, oh, what's
Charlie?
that? Yeah.
But that's like totally different from your actual name.
I don't know. Someone told me it was like, oh, it's a Mexican thing. I'm like, oh, okay.
Really?
Oh yeah, Carlos. They called him Charlie's.
Oh, okay.
Charlie.
That's weird.
And
Not
then-
Carl?
My middle name is Antonio, so
Carl's
I have like
white.
an uncle that would call me Tony every once in a while too.
What's your middle name?
Antonio.
Oh yeah, so Tony.
Yeah, Tony. We had a dog named Tony. No lie, he was a good dog. He was the best. He was the best.
What kind of dog was it?
Ah, shit.
Do you remember?
He was like a golden mix.
Yeah.
Well, us Mexicans always have mixed dogs. I don't
Yeah,
think
dude.
we ever have a
pure breed.
purebred.
Yeah.
Just like us, we're not all purebred. We're a little mixture of everything.
No, I mean we did have that one chow chow. Remember, like fucking.
I wasn't around for that one.
What's a chow
yeah, you
chow?
were?
Was it?
Yeah, that was the
The
one
white
where
ones.
the neighbor in the back said he ripped up his car seat, and dad like did the typical Mexican dad and loaded him in the car and drove him off. And it wasn't until years later, I'm like, yeah, Dad, that guy was a liar, right? Don't you think he lied about wanting you to fix his upholstery? He's like, yeah, maybe. And then got rid of the dog.
Whoa! Probably took him to Lytle Creek.
Oh yeah, I remember she said that they dumped dogs.
Yeah,
there.
my dad would do that shit all the time back when.
My dad would actually
Take him for a ride.
He took him for a ride, and I actually knew the exact spot right there off the 10 freeway on Kellogg Hill, or right by like the cemetery. He would just get off, and that's where he would like leave the dogs.
It was sad.
Don't you have a bit about that? But
that's why
you do, right? Yeah.
It's not a bit. That's a
Legit shit.
It's real life.
That's why they say they pull your real life for comedy and whatnot. You tell I'm on this fucker, like all the shit he says is legit.
Yeah.
I'm all it's real. He's not making it up. That's why, like at his show, I'm telling my buddy, I'm like, that's real. I'm all, it really happened.
The true Hollywood story.
I was there. I saw it happen.
Yeah, I read somewhere it's like 50% is like real, and then 50% is like
exaggeration.
or fabricated in some type of way.
You think about it, it's like a film, where it's like based on a true story. They're gonna fucking Cool Runnings it and be like, oh, everybody hated them, they're racist. No, everybody loved them when they were there, but they need to do something to add to the story
True.
or change it up. And that's how it is. You exaggerate it. So Carlos, like he'll exaggerate a little bit, but majority of it's fucking almost 100% true.
Yeah.
That's what they did with the Elvis movie. I think the new one that came out. Did you watch that one?
Yeah. Well,
No?
they completely left out that scene where there's a kid that shows him how to do the dance. It was a kid that had braces on his legs, and he stayed at the fucking where he rented like a room at the place, and he was showing him how to dance, and they left that scene out.
The Forrest Gump one.
Look that up to see if that's real or not.
No.
Those are facts.
Yeah, they can no, but that was like, I don't know. I had mixed feelings about that movie.
McFeelings? Is
Yeah,
that what you said?
mixed feelings about that.
I was like,
It
bad, dude. Like
doesn't sound like
McFollies.
I just had McDonald's right now, so I'm adding Mick.
I'm like, I'm with you, bro. I'm like, let's go get
McDonald's
McDouble.
is coming out.
Did I leave a wrapper or something around here?
You're fucking your next
I don't wanna
sponsor,
know.
bro.
I know McDonald's. Where you at?
Make help us, McDonald's.
Pay for some of my medical bills since
Give us some McMoney.
your problem.
Make money, yeah.
At the next Horchataria event, McDonald's is gonna be there with their freaking McDoubles.
Right.
Now sponsored by McDonald's.
We're like, McChop.
Bring back Ronald McDonald, dude. No one knows who he is now. The kids don't know who he is.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, they are bringing back the Hamburglar. I just saw
Are
that
they
article
really?
today. Yeah, because they're gonna change up their menu a little bit.
Oh, really?
Add some new, like, toast the buns and shit.
So I heard that they were gonna change.
I don't know.
I heard they were gonna change the McDouble or the cheeseburger, right?
Well, they're gonna add grilled onions now. That's gonna be an option. Fucking grilled onions, you know. And I was all excited, all that shit. My gordo
Dang.
ass, like, oh, míralo,
I
fucking.
don't like
Like what
McDonald's
they're doing.
anymore, but you said grilled onions. I'm like, I'm going back right now.
Yeah, and they're gonna bring a famous character, and they're like, it's I didn't get to finish reading the whole article, but the main picture was the Hamburglar, so I'm like, that must be the fucking character.
So they're gonna
back.
bring him back.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's already on
No
on
one can
like
stop the
a
Grimace.
billboard.
the grimace. Yeah, we need him back.
Yeah, Grimace is cool.
No one can stop.
You seen him on the billboard?
Yeah, we passed by a billboard the other day, and the
I'm
hamburger-
driving. I'm not looking
I
at
know,
billboards.
I am. That's why I saw it.
Oh,
That billboard did not do its job.
But-
If you're not looking,
I know.
Yeah, man.
But I showed you the video today. Yeah, they're showing that the bun is gonna be like softer.
Yeah, it's a
She
different
said
bun
She
now.
said it
Yeah.
almost tastes like a Hawaiian roll. Like
Ooh.
Oh yeah, sweet Hawaiian bread and shit.
Yeah. McDonald's sponsor us. We're talking about McDonald's for the past 5 minutes.
Yeah,
We need my
get sponsored, not him.
McDonald's money.
man. They call us. It's not mine, but it's brother's. You guys wanna? We're like, oh yeah, sure. Fucking McDoubles.
I heard they're gonna do a remake of Mac and Me. That's how we're gonna get on.
Fucking start dancing in a bear suit. There you go, the brother's bear. Ah.
Ah, there it is.
Boom. All right. Bye, guys.
You got it. Bye, guys. We did what we have to do here.
Oh man, shit.
No, but what did you think of that movie? Of the Elvis movie?
Malcolm me? Oh,
Mac and Me is terrible. That was the most terrible movie. But when did it come out? Like in the 80s something?
yeah.
You've never seen this?
You've never seen Mac and Me?
It's like the biggest ripoff
of E.T.
of E.T.
And it's literally like almost a commercial for like 100. I mean, McDonald's fucking put money into it.
Did they?
Yeah.
It was McDonald's, Coke, and I want to say Skittles.
Something like that. Yeah.
I know it was like a candy that put in too. Because
for sure the two, Coke and McDonald's. So there's like a whole scene where they're fucking dancing. There's like a routine.
What is it called?
Mac
And me.
Mac
yeah,
and
Mac
me?
like that and me.
Okay, got it. Go. Keep going.
Yeah, so yeah, it's fucking and there's over there in City of Industry, there's a McDonald's that they use for commercials. That's where they filmed that scene.
Really?
Yeah, so growing up, we would always, aside from Back to the Future, we'd always be like, "Oh, Mac and Me was filmed there."
I didn't know that.
Yeah, look at that shit.
You see this guy?
I've
Or
never
girl?
seen this.
Or person?
So there's
He's an
scenes
alien.
that, I mean, it doesn't hold up. The movie never held up, but if you watch it now, it's just horrible.
Yeah. And the only reason why it's kind of like, I mean, it's a terrible film. People have talking about it, but it more so popped up. You see how Conan O'Brien right there with Paul Rudd? Well, anytime for years he came on to promote a film and they would like, all right, we're going to cut to the clip. He would always show a scene from Mac and Me, and it's always the same scene.
What?
Where he would fucking, it's a kid on a wheelchair because the main kid is in a wheelchair, and he falls down a hill and like falls into a fucking
A lake.
ravine.
Yeah.
And the Mac and Me pops up, and he would show that all the time. He's been doing that for years, and he would trick him. And even when he doesn't believe it, he's like, "Nah, the studio, I got in trouble. They want me to show the actual clip." Okay, and then he shows the clip. Yeah, even on the podcast, he was on the podcast and he tricked them.
Really?
And he still was able to play the audio sound of it.
So Conan would do this to Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd would do it.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a whole they don't have all of them, but someone did a supercut on YouTube of the Paul Rudd Mac
Go to
and Me.
YouTube and find that.
Yeah, and there's like just clip after clip of it.
I wonder. Yeah. So there were, because I watch, as you can see, Watch Mojo. So the top tens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I came across that movie when it was like the top 10 movie ripoffs
yeah.
of like the century or something like that.
Yeah, Paul Rudd, Mac. See, a supercut. It's about like 15 minutes, but it's just him throughout the years, just fucking, you know.
Which one, the first one?
Yeah, the first one, it's a supercut. We don't have, I mean, it's 15 minutes, but, you know, it gives you an idea.
I just always say that, like, when, I brought a clip, and that's not true. We don't really have clips and bring them along, but this time I did. I brought it to you.
This
is a clip of the final
episode.
And I thought maybe
Yeah, it does.
you could show it.
Well, I'm just going to show it because why not? We might get in some trouble here, but as long as it doesn't give anything away,
I think there's a lot of interest.
Let's show this clip from the final episode of Friends.
And he's been doing that shit. So, like, when you have time, spend the 15 minutes, and it's just nonstop.
So every time Paul Rudd is on Conan O'Brien,
every time for years he's been doing that fucking joke.
Emotional. I mean,
And on the last episode, Conan's very last like TV thing, he did that.
well, that was a real clip. That was.
Okay.
No, I did bring a. Yeah, we can cut to the real one.
Paul Rudd's long-running gag on Conan.
I just love how the quality of the movie gets better throughout the years.
Because they fixed it up.
Yeah. The original was like all shitty and fucking VHS, and then later on they digitized. Like, maybe people want it on Blu-ray. I don't know.
That's awesome. So it's there in industry, the McDonald's.
Off
That
of
they,
Gill.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, over there in City of Industry. It's like kind of hidden, but yeah, there's the McDonald's there that they use for all their commercials.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. They use it, they film all inside and shit like that all the time. And growing up, you would pass by and it was always just like that cool, like as a kid, like, oh, that's the McDonald's where Mac and me was.
Or sometimes you would see like the trailers outside, so you knew they were filming.
Yeah.
Same like the McDonald's in Downey as it being the first McDonald's in ever. Well, not really. Well, it's the first. It's the first franchise McDonald's.
Yeah.
The first one is in San Bernardino.
Yeah, because fucking Batman stole that shit from him, and fucking that was terrible.
Batman stole what?
Well, fucking Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
Wait, hold on. What? Stole what?
No, not Batman.
Not literally Michael Keaton, but the movie from the founder.
Oh,
He
yeah.
fucking just flat out stole it. Like that's like the true story there and shit.
It's such a good movie though.
Yeah,
but it's you want to punch him, but
You want to punch Ray Kroc just right in the face.
Yeah, but
I saw a movie high and it was like the worst experience because I got so high that I wanted to get McDonald's.
But you didn't want to support or what?
No, I couldn't drive.
Oh,
I was like, I'm not doing this. Like,
Well, they got Mick delivery now.
I guess
That was before. It's not the same.
I mean, this was what, like 7 years ago.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
That movie was
And,
like 2011 or some shit. No, 2013.
And I remember like the next day, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get my damn McDonald's. And I just got like the plain cheeseburgers, like in the movie, not anything, not like a quarter pounder or Big Mac. I just got the simple cheeseburger. And then I get home and I take a bite out of it. I'm like, why did I want this?
You don't even remember?
Like, it wasn't good to me. I'm like, yeah, it was enjoyable, but it's like high me versus sober me. I was like, yeah. This could have. I get why this is a Happy Meal burger.
I wonder how accurate that movie is
We just
compared
lost
to
the
what happened.
sponsorship.
I know. Mick Brothers podcast.
I'm just kidding. My kids like McDonald's every day.
I feed it to him every day, every time I get a chance.
Oh man.
We ordered breakfast a couple weeks ago, or I did.
Yeah, you ordered it.
And it got to the front house, and we're like, "Where's our order?" And then it showed like it was in the front house. So Gilbert went to go retrieve it, and then
Fetch it.
They're all eating it and shit. Like, oh yeah, what?
He went to go
And
fetch it.
The front neighbor, he was like, "Oh, my kids got so excited. They were like, thank you, Dad, thank you.'
Oh, that's fucked up. Yeah,
and it
no.
wasn't even for them.
Give me my McDonald's, kid. Get away
See,
from
I'm not
that.
a fan of like
Fucking touch
like,
it.
McDonald's, but breakfast McDonald's.
Oh
like
yeah,
breakfast.
fuck
It's
yeah.
different. It's a
That's
whole
all I
different
like.
Sausage
restaurant.
McMuffins with bacon. Oh, that shit.
that
Oh, McGriddle.
Their fucking hash browns are fucking grilled too.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of McDonald's, but I do like breakfast.
Yeah.
They're grilled? Is that what you said?
No,
Oh, I thought you said that
no,
their
I
hash
just said
browns
the
were
hash
grilled.
browns are grub.
Oh. I was like, they're grilled? They're more healthy? They turned a new leaf.
Yeah,
Everything is healthy.
the big and tasty, man. That shit was good back when.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It was basically, can we look up the big
I was gonna say, what's the big and tasty? You guys
It's
gotta
like a
show
whole
me.
McDonald's episode.
We're not even promoting the show like fucking McDonald's today.
Dude, I'm trying to get you guys a sponsorship.
What is it called?
This was the whole thing.
Big and tasty.
Oh, yeah.
And then
was-
just put McDonald's
that-
yeah. There you go. See
I've never had this. I've never had a Big Mac.
the big and tasty.
Dude, she never had a, what was it, a Hot Pocket up until like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
And were you disappointed?
No, it was okay. It was pretty good.
She wanted another one. She was like, you didn't buy more?
Yeah,
Like, I have a crackhead
Hey,
now.
they have a box of 12 fucking at Walmart, $9.99. Dude, you can-
It's because my mom was the type that was like, no, I'll just make something.
We have
I'll
Hot
make
Pockets at home.
Oh,
would
the
make
Arch
it.
Deluxe. That's the burger I was talking about. The Arch Deluxe. I love the Arch Deluxe. It was like the fancy fucking burger of McDonald's because they were trying to be all gourmet. Like, so it was like, yeah, and fucking it failed.
Wait, so what was the difference with the Big and Tasty?
I thought that was you right now without glasses,
It
bro.
had lettuce.
That's why we're talking about McDonald's.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, my new sponsor. No, just kidding. It had lettuce, right? That was the only thing.
White cheese?
I
American.
don't remember
It
having
looks
white
white
cheese.
right here. Swiss?
Yeah. I mean, they always try to do fucking burger. Look at even Kobe right there, grubbing on it and shit. They always tried to do like special, but it just they would never work out, and they would always go back to the original fucking quarter pounder, Big Macs and shit. The only stuff they always switch up is the chicken now.
It was probably like the Big and Tasty was McDonald's like call after Burger King came out with the Whopper,
Yeah, because it looks like it.
right? It looks exactly like a Whopper, but
Yeah.
with one
I mean,
patty.
but the Whopper has been around from like the 80s or even before that. That's like their signature burger.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're a movie podcast and we're talking about McDonald's.
Food and shit.
Like somebody feed
I mean, it's
us.
entertainment. It's pop
Yeah.
culture.
Okay.
That's kind of what the show is about, right?
So okay, back to your guys'
I mean,
podcast.
technically, it's nostalgia because
yeah,
we're talking about the past. That's kind of what our show is about.
Okay, so what is your show about?
It's just it's honestly 100% a nostalgia podcast where my brother and we talk about stuff
Your
that
little
we
brother.
grew up with. Yeah, my little brother. The stuff like one of the recent episodes we talked about Pogs, and that was just literally a bag. As I sat down to record, there was a bag of Pogs, and we just started talking about Pogs.
And my girlfriend wanted to toss them. I was like, don't you dare. Don't you dare. She's
Yeah.
like, okay, then put them somewhere. I'm like, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's like that, and then it leads to other things because under the Pogs, there were some Power Ranger ones, and then we just started talking about the Power Rangers. So that's really what it is. But it's also we do focus on certain things upcoming, like Carlos has always been about like the movie reviews because our show has gone through 3 types of like renditions. The very first version of it, when we started doing Brothers Bear, it's kind of more of where we're at now, just a little different. Where it was like that, like it's just nostalgia. Like we did a whole Pixar episode. We did like where we would answer questions where we would start talking about like where if you had to choose, would you rather be a Jedi or a wizard from like Harry Potter universe and shit like that. Yeah, right.
I forgot about that.
So we would just do like that, and then we'd have Song of the Week, Carlos's movie review. I would do my FU moment where I would pick something from a film or anything I would watch. It would just bug the fuck out of me, and I would call it, you won't fuck you.
Yeah. So when we went live, when we were actually like in a studio, the format was still there, but we went more of like scripted in a way.
And
where-
current.
Yeah. So that we were always like, okay, this week let's do that. Especially because we were a Monday night show.
And that was the beginning start of the
second take of the
Yeah, that's the second. Yeah.
So when we did that for a few years, it was we kind of took what we had already, but we like spiced it up because it was like a format. We had an hour in the beginning. The show ended up being a hit, so they gave us an hour, half hour more. So we were an hour and a half of a show.
Yeah.
And we did segments. We did a shout out right in the beginning, and from there it was just current events, and then we would kind of riff up on that. whatever what was in, and then right at the tail end for the last half hour, then he had his like, you know what, FU song of the week, and then I did the movie review, and the song of the week was always the last thing, and that's what always played out.
But it was more current news. So like the geek, whatever world of entertainment, I would see it. So, and throughout the week, I would just save it, and then we would try to fit it in the show and talk about it. We would also have guests and shit like that. Bands in studio.
This is way before either or like had like kids and I was always going to the movies. I was always going to shows. So that's how I was like.
Yeah. And I was constantly reading fucking articles on everything geek related. Like, so we had more time. Once that ended, now the version now is more of it's nostalgia. We're going back to the original, but the only difference is now we're parents. So we incorporate that in there. And it's just stuff that we've seen, but it's just it's more towards the original one. But we're not current like before.
You guys had bands inside the studio?
Yeah.
How did that dynamic work out? How did you find the bands?
A couple of my friends were in bands, so we got them through them. And then our other co-host at the time, he knew people, so then he would get bands as well.
Yeah, and then every now and again, it was all through Instagram. Like people would see us on Instagram, and they'd be like, "Hey." So I would be like, "Yeah, you guys want to come on?" Or I would see them and try to hit them up because I had more freedom.
I had a bunch of comedians come onto the show.
Oh yeah.
So we were looking at the last time you and I were talking. We were going through like I think it was the IG, but you had this one comic that I used to go to school with in high school. I forgot his name. Dylan.
Oh yeah, Dylan.
Yeah,
we
that's
had
right.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does he still do comedy?
No, he doesn't.
No?
I mean, before he moved out of state, he did it for like a little bit and then he stopped. But like I keep in contact with him, and he tells me he's ready for it, but he's not ready for it. But, I mean, the last that I know, he writes. That's about it.
Yeah, that was. I think we were junior high. I know, not junior high, but junior. Like when you're 10th grade, right? That's junior.
10th grade.
Yeah,
no, that's high school.
Okay.
Because it's freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think we were seniors. We were seniors, and he would talk about like I'm gonna do comedy, and I remember the teachers would ask him like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Like, you still need to learn like because we were in like a I think social studies class, something that had to do with like mathematics and numbers.
Yeah.
And he told the teacher, "Oh, like I'm gonna have an accountant. Don't like I don't need to know this stuff. Like when I'm a famous comedian, I'm gonna have
this.
I don't need an accountant. My accountant's gonna handle all that." But yeah, I remember that from back then.
I remember one of my counselor meetings. I think it was my senior year, and I was there with Mom. And we're there, and they're asking me like, "Oh, what do you want to do for when you graduate? What are your like plans for college and this and that, or what job do you want to do?" And I just said, "Oh, I want to be a comedian." He looked at me and he just went, "Well, there's not a lot of comedians who are successful." And then he's like, "A lot of them were dropouts. Jerry Seinfeld did not finish high school," and he just started listing people
who are all famous.
Yeah, who are all famous, probably making more money than he is.
Good examples. I'm like, "Oh, if Jerry could do it, I could do it." And then Mom just kind of looked at me like, and then he's like, "Well, no, just think about it, and we'll get back to it." And that was it. Like he literally told me, "Don't be a comedian."
And this was
my senior year.
Oh, senior year.
Yeah, in high school.
Yeah, but they're never right. Your counselors are never right.
I mean, that's why they're working at a high school, bro. They couldn't fucking do anything else.
Yeah,
they're going to advise other kids like, "Hey, I fucked up, so I'm going to help you, advise you to do better." Basically what it is.
So yeah, Dylan on, you had other comedians on your guys' podcast in the early days. And that was like way before freaking podcasts were ever a thing, dude.
Yeah, because our podcast, we started 2012. And that was because it's like we're listening to other shows at the time.
Technically, we started...
he started before.
No, well, so it was roughly around 2011 or like halfway into the year of 2011. And I don't know why I didn't do it with him first, but at the time I was hanging out with two of my buddies like constantly. And then I remember one day we were going to meet up. I was going to meet up with them. And I just told him like, "Dude, let's start a podcast." Now my buddy, he was very tech savvy. He had cameras. He had everything, like, because that's what he did. And he was like, "Yeah." He just an hour later, he figured out like how to do everything. And this is like way before what we have, what you have in front of us. Like this really wasn't accessible back then. And if it was, it was pricey.
It was expensive, yeah.
Yeah.
So he figured out like the cheap way to do it through like, GarageBand and just having some crappy mic. And, we did it. We recorded. And then I think the next day we're like, no, let's do a podcast too. I'm like, okay. So literally a whole week later, I start with one with him, which is the one that we do to this day.
2012?
Roughly.
No, for sure it is 2012 because the anniversary always pops up in August of 2012 where it says like, about to record our very first episode of Brothers Bear Podcast.
No, I can tell you why it was before 2012.
How?
Because we did the end of the year. We were technically the pioneers of a backyard podcast show. That was right before what was supposed to be.
Yeah, that's the end of the world.
I know.
2012.
We're arguing on the podcast.
No, that's why we did a backyard
This
gig.
is why I brought you guys here to hash this out.
But that's why, remember, because the world was supposed to end in 2012.
Yeah, we took the promo pictures.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so that's why it was 2012 because that was like in December. It was December, I think
yeah, he's right.
Yeah. It was December 19th. The world was supposed to end. So we did the live, like the live backyard gig. Like who's ever done it like back, maybe now, but back when it's like, gigs were fucking bands and shit. And we did podcasts. He did his show first. And then, we did our show first. Right. Yeah. And then he did the Bridgetown right afterwards. Yeah. So that's why. So it was 2012, and
so it was like a literal like backyard show, but for podcast.
It was a backyard gig, but for podcast.
We had chairs laid out.
Yeah,
people,
What?
We had a
they're sitting
soundboard
down,
and
and then people were drinking in the back, just watching us. Like there was no bands or anything after. It just turned into like a massive kickback after.
Yeah,
but people were watching us talk in front of like everybody.
and we just felt proud because we're like, fuck, like no one's ever done this shit. Like we're the first, we're the pioneers. And
but yeah, at that time, it's like, I mean, yeah, Joe Rogan was there. We were very big on Kevin Smith with the Smodcast,
and Todd Glass and shit
Todd
like
Glass,
that. Nerdist.
The Nerdist before, I forgot what the hell he changed it to, and then
ID15 or some shit like that.
Yeah. Doug Loves Movies. There's like a handful, but it wasn't what it is today.
Yeah.
Like back then, to be like in the top 100, it was easy because there really wasn't that much.
There was like less than 100.
Yeah. Now it's like every other week, every month, like and especially now, like that's what sucks too. It's still one of those things where it's like, all right, him and I or you. We're like throwing these like, oh, fucking support our podcast, do this, do that, listen to it. But then out of nowhere, some show from many years ago, they're like, they get together. You're like, you know what? We should make a podcast and talk about the episodes. And then that becomes a hit. Yeah. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, we've been
doing that
for how long?
Yeah, who's doing that? The Office, right? The two girls from The Office.
COVID. I mean, I feel like we talked about this last time, but COVID fucking ruined it because no one was working. So they're like, oh, let's all start podcasts. So celebrities started.
A lot of the comedians started doing podcasts too because they weren't performing, right?
Yeah, well,
majority of them already had it, but like it blew up even more. Right. But right now, it's like a lot of 90s and the 90s Nickelodeon kids and who are now adults, and same thing with Disney Channel kids. They're all reminiscing whatever show it was at the time, and then they're talking about the episodes, but then now they're exploring like the other child actors that are like their experience and stuff, and they're bringing them on. And because even Stevens has a podcast now.
Really?
Yeah, they have one. Minus Shiloh, but they it's like I don't know their actual.
I mean, they have a Boy Meets World one too.
What?
Shit like that. Yeah. And so it's like the people from the shows. So
it's like you have stuff like that, and those are the shows that are hits. But it's like, dude, they have it easy,
It's like, and then that's where your competition is. It's like fucking, are they gonna, Boy Meets World fan? I'm like, oh, I don't hear Topanga talk, or they're gonna listen to Brothers Bear Mind Buzz. Like they're gonna fucking go, So you have that competition where back
Unless
when
we have Topanga on the show.
Yeah, that's true.
Badass, right? But back when it's like. It was just you're only going against comedians and anybody else who happen to have a podcast.
I could dress like Topanga. That's not a problem.
You have a wig somewhere.
Yeah, I gotta wait. Can you go grab it?
And then this here, like when we started, we had one mic right in the middle of the fucking table, and and we just had to talk loud. That was it, because that's all we could afford, and it was plugged into my computer, and I would just edit and shit like that.
Yeah, I remember the first mic we had for the other podcast that I did. Yeah, same thing. It was like in the middle, but that thing was sensitive. Like I remember our biggest complaint when people would give us feedbacks was there was a cricket in the background, and so that became like our fourth like honorary host for a while.
Do you guys still have any of the recordings from like the early days?
If I could manage,
That is awesome. That would be dope.
I know in an external drive I do, but
Yeah.
for mine,
Gotta find it.
For Bridgetown podcast it's on my first computer. If I'm able to like magically get that on, I everything is on there. But that thing hasn't been turned on in a long.
yeah, I have an external drive, but because FireWire is no longer a thing, it's all fucking lightning. I can't access it at the moment.
Firewire.
Yeah, that was like the old way of like transferring shit like that, like all quick back when was a FireWire cable. But now it's lightning, you know, the newer style, like fucking.
Oh, okay. Oh, that like little.
Yeah,
it's not
but
even
back
like a
when-
mini USB. It's like
Yeah, but now
Smaller than
FireWire
that.
cables were the ones. So I need to buy an adapter and show, or just take it to a shop and they'll transfer that shit. But I know I have his podcast on there. So, and I mean, you guys did like what? Maybe like how many? 12? Like you didn't do a lot of like fully.
I don't know.
Because it was one of those things where like what I had issues with when like filming back when, where you're having fun and then you're like you want to continue it and they just give up and shit.
We were doing good. Like it was my two buddies and we were having fun doing it. And when we got the live studio, they kind of asked me too. It's like, hey, do you want to bring your other show here on a different day? And I was like, oh, dude, that'd be pretty cool. He's like, but the only thing is that my other co-hosts, they had no filter when it came to like just dropping F-bombs and this and that. So I told him like, hey, dude, we could do this. We have an opportunity, but you got to clean up your language. And my buddy was like, I ain't doing that. He's like, no, I'm not. If they can't handle me, then I don't want it. And it's like, dude, just come on.
how old was this guy?
Dude, he was a year older than me, I think, if not 2 years. And this is 2012. So I'm in like 22-ish, 23 at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And
Can't handle me.
yeah, like he just wanted to cuss. Like he just wanted to be able to be like, F this, F down. I'm like,
Yeah.
And so he's like, nah, I don't want to do it, man. He's like, you can't censor me. I'm like, all right, then.
Dude, you don't know. He could have been like an early Alex Jones back then.
Probably.
Could have been a pioneer of that genre.
I mean, we fucking had that shit with our show. Fucking our guy, he was like that conspiracy theorist. and
Oh
all
yeah,
that.
that's right. I
'Cause
remember you telling
he
me.
even wanted to. I mean, remember you guys were gonna do?
Oh yeah, I'm glad we didn't do it.
I know.
That would have messed me up.
They always kept talking about wanting to do like some fucking like
we
conspiracy
had we
philosophizing or some shit like that.
It was philosophizing raptors.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember because I kept playing on. Well, there's this Eddie Izzard comedy bit, and he talks about Noah's Ark, and there's a part where he says Jesus and the dinosaurs. So I kept playing on that. Like I remember I wrote a whole comic about that. I just was trying to find people to write, like pen and do the art for me, but I was stuck on this Jesus on the dinosaurs like thing. But he was a big conspiracy theorist too. At the time, I didn't know he was going to go as crazy as he is today. But I was like, you know what? I could do that too. Like, you know, this seems pretty interesting. And I believe in ghosts, even though I don't believe in God. But let's do this. You know, like, but we never sat down. Like, we actually, the one time we sat down to like record, we ended up making music instead. Like, that's way. And then we used that for the podcast.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So that ended up being what. Almost an attempt for me doing a third podcast was just doing these weird stories about like Bigfoot or stuff like that. That's what we were gonna do, but we never did it, you know.
Yeah.
And but then going back on like my other two co-hosts, so we did it for a little while more, and then I had a really bad. Well, I worked at PetSmart at the time, and they were very anal about like me getting days off. So every time I would try to put like I need these days off, I wouldn't get it. So they started touring a lot. They started like not touring, but like they were like traveling. They were going to like Arizona. They were going up north. They went to Canada, all this stuff. And I was supposed to go with them. Never did. So whenever
this is a band?
No.
Well, one's like doing
actually,
photography.
One was
So he would follow.
He would do photography. The other one was a drummer. So he was like in like 3 different bands.
What kind of what bands?
Punk, and then like just 2-piece.
Oh, okay.
And towards the end, the show became more about them than the show itself. So they started taking control of the whole show, even though I was the one that like created the whole thing. And then when it came to like, oh, hey, are we going to record today? They were like, nah, I'm not feeling it today. So little by little, their interest on actually recording just kind of faded. And then I was like, dude, do you guys want to do this, or you guys want to pull the plug? And they were just, let's just pull the plug. And I'm like, okay. So then I just, obviously I was like, all right, it didn't bother me because I still had Brothers Bear to play on.
Yeah. And then, like doing the live thing was just every Monday. We had a set schedule.
Oh, so you had it like every week?
Yeah.
In the backyard?
No. This was literally at a studio that we drove in Whittier.
Right.
So that was live. Like they would, fucking...
Right. Oh, no, I thought you were doing the live shows every week.
No. That was just once.
Oh, that was one
fucking
time?
the end of the world episode. That's what it was. But no, once we got the studio, so it was just like, well, every Monday we always know we have to be there and record, and we did that a few years. Got fired a few times and came back
A few times.
Yeah, because it was twice actually. The first time I remember they let us go, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then afterwards they brought us back and shit like that.
Yeah, like, no, we need you.
Yeah, we're like, okay, and then
we made a
went back.
mistake.
Yeah, and then the third time the second time was this when they wanted now more money because of the whole Hancholo and all that. I know I talked about that last time, but so then it was just like I didn't want to record at home anymore. Like, it was just like that from going to the studio and then going back to the house. I'm like, God. So that's where we took that break. And then 2020, it's like, oh, we should try to bring it back. And everybody was doing reunions, like fucking all these TV shows. And so I played off of that because like the video, I did that like it's like, all the biggest reunions, and I'm like showing titles of all these TV shows, and then boom, Brothers Bear Podcast, and it's us talking. And, we had one episode, all three of us. We're like, all right, we're going to come back. And then, we had issues with our co-host.
It died so fast. Like we did the reunion episode, and then maybe that's when the scheduling kind of conflicted between all three of us to when we were free to record it. I think we did record another episode, but we just never aired it.
Yeah.
And I forgot what was happening in the world at that moment, and our other co-host decided to like fight with somebody in the comment thread, and then that's when we knew, like, dude, what the hell, like this is looking bad on us. But then also too,
and he was on your guys' account, right?
I think he was on his personal, but still it was just.
But like our fans who followed the show followed all three of us and whatnot. So it was just one of those things where
so on the side we
I want to see his comments. Do you still have the comments on there?
No.
Okay.
And you would have to like.
I'm a chismo, so I just want to see the drama.
Yeah, no, I mean maybe.
I know Amber wants to see them, so I'm just advocating for her over there.
Yeah, and then after
me.
after that, we just kind of text them on the side, like, "Nah, dude, that's not what we stand for." This and that. I said, "Oh, well, you guys are dumb."
And this was during the pandemic too, right?
Yeah, during the pandemic.
Because it was with George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter.
Okay, that's what. Okay.
So and he's trying to say there's no such thing as systemic racism and shit like that.
Yeah.
So it just fell up. Like we're like, nope. So then it became like a full on reboot.
Yeah,
and then,
so we made a statement saying that's not what we believe in. We believe in this and that, and we don't associate with them. And then we just kicked them out. And then we kind of waited a bit, and then that's when we recorded. And then we just said, okay, this is what it's going to be now.
Yeah, but because of being fathers now and full-time jobs and all this, it's harder for us to get together. Unlike before, where like every month or every week we were recording, especially with the first version and the second. Mm-hmm. Now it's just like when we're available, boom, we'll record it. If not, so that's always been the hard thing.
And it's funny because he'll come over with the recording equipment at the house, and I was like, oh yeah, let's do this. And we never do it because of the kids.
Yeah, it just makes it hard.
So we have like the intention, so like, okay, we're gonna record, and then it just doesn't happen.
And what's funny is that I wiped clean of all the old episodes because I didn't want people to listen and be like, oh, well, here's the other guy. And then, nah. but there is one episode, technically a segment that I had to pull from our old episodes that I reloaded because it's one of the best episodes we ever fucking had. Yeah, Kermit and Miss Piggy. So we did it twice because it was the show Kermit the Frog on the Muppets Tonight. It was it was just Muppets, right?
Yeah, Muppets.
They did like an office style show on Channel 7. So Kermit started dating some new girl, right? And basically was gonna dump Miss Piggy, and it was someone named Denise or some shit like that. Yeah, it looked just like and then
they made like a sexy pig, basically.
Yeah,
Whoa.
and she looked like there's the actress from Game of Thrones. They would always say, "You look like that pig," and she'd be like, "Fuck." And so what we did is we had our co-host. He's gonna conduct the interview. I'm gonna leave because I had to go to the bathroom or something. Carlos, I can't remember what his excuse. And Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy called in to the show, and he conducted the interview. And it was like one of the funniest fucking bits ever. And then we did it again. We were driving to some event to go see Robert Kirkman, and this time the show got canceled. So now we had Miss Piggy and Kermit coming back, and that's like I'm like we can't we have to bring this shit on there. There's no way. So that's like it's on there and on our episodes, the fucking interviewing the Muppets. That's what it is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have a clip of this or anywhere?
Just audio. But
Just audio?
It's not no visual.
Can we play it? Can I play some of it? I want to hear it.
Sure, if you want.
Yeah? Or are you?
Yeah.
You okay with
I
that?
mean, you just have to go to fucking.
Where do I find? Oh, like on your podcast?
No, you would have to it's just a Spotify or fucking Apple. That would.
See if you can find it. Well, they.
Honestly,
it's not going to be on there. It's because it's an audio. I don't load really audio. If I have visuals,
okay.
Like I've done some visual clips.
I was gonna go to your.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, Brothers Bear Spotify.
Yeah.
We can look at it.
It's right, the third one. Yeah.
I just need.
And it would just be called Interviewing the Muppets.
I need consent from you before playing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
I would just my thing is it's like. For this show, we do have some actual clips I put together of us talking, but I haven't done that with the Muppets.
That's an older one.
You'll see the
right?
actual right there. See, Interviewing the Muppets.
Oh, here it is.
Right there.
And then you'll just have to kind of go forward a bit because I do an intro and stuff, and then.
Come on. Whoa. Sorry, guys.
Jeez.
Is it on?
Is it what?
Oh, it's over here. Nothing. I was trying to see where the volume was.
Say just jump ahead at any point. Jump 15 minutes in. Right there, that's fine.
I didn't mean to.
Did you erase that out of your memory? It was so awful. Was it just another pig, you thought? It was another pig, I bet, right? And then you later in life you grew up and then you came across another pig.
You're right. We co-wrote the theme song together. I still remember it.
Oh, you know what? Rewind it a little bit.
Who is this?
Rewind it a little bit. Go back do the 15 seconds, the 15 seconds thing.
Oh.
Go,
you grew up and then you
hit
came
it
across
3 more times.
Yes.
The set of
One more.
Just hold on a second. All
Right
right,
there,
Kermit,
leave it there.
Kermit, speak your piece, Kermit.
Here.
All right.
Look,
Just pretend that I'm Maury, and I'm gonna figure this out for you guys.
I met Miss Piggy on the set of the Muppet movie.
Uh-huh.
Jim Henson introduced me to Miss Piggy.
Yeah, weren't you guys babies first?
Okay.
I mean, I know the story more than you. Sounds like Kermit. What do you want?
We had a song when we were babies.
Yes.
Wait, you're right. I didn't mean to.
Did you erase that out of your memory? It was so awful. Was it just another pig, you thought? It was another pig, I bet, right? And then you later in life you grew up and then you came across another pig.
You're right. We co-wrote the theme song together. I still remember it. When the world looks kind of weird and you wish that you weren't there. I like adventure. I like romance. I tell great jokes. Animal dance. I don't
Brilliant.
remember the rest of the lyrics.
That's great. Well, it was a long time ago. I understand. That's understandable. Okay,
So who's doing the voices?
It's us.
That is pretty spot on,
Piggy,
dude.
And I'm
Miss
Kermit the
Piggy.
Frog.
That is really good.
I don't even know how it came about that I was able to do Miss Piggy's voice.
Yeah.
Because he would always do Kermit, and then I don't even know how it came about for myself. I was like, let me see if I could do Piggy.
Yeah.
And then one day I did it, and
Can you do it right now?
yeah.
And what's funny is that in the show, I won't. If you actually listen to the episode, I won't give it away because it's hilarious.
Yeah,
but
don't give it away.
in order to get Kermit the Frog's
I'm gonna
voice,
read it out because I know if I don't read it, I'll mess up. That's why.
yeah,
So.
in order for me to get his voice, I need to say his name. So, and if I start losing it, I need to say his name again. And we kind of do a call to that in the episode. But there's there's two interviews, and then in that original one, Freddie from 80 Miles Per Hour podcast, we originally had him on the show, but he calls and we didn't know it was him, and he's just doing a voice, and we're thinking it's someone doing Pepe the Prawn. Yeah, it's fucking good, dude. But that's like one of our favorite episodes, like of the past that I had to post, but like maybe if I do it, it'll help you do Miss Piggy.
No, I could do it. I could do it.
No, but you need to do it too. I gotta, yeah.
Kermit the Frog here. Hey, everybody, it's Kermit. And this is we're here on the Mind Buzz. Thank you for allowing us to do this podcast with you. I'm a bear. I'm gonna tell jokes. Oh, brother. Kermit the Frog here. Hey, everybody. I'm right here with Miss Piggy, and we're the Muppets visiting the Mind Buzz today. You know, you could have just had moi on the show without this Kermit here.
I couldn't think of what to say.
Drums, But thank you for having Miss Piggy on the Mind Buzz podcast.
Thank you, Miss Piggy. Thanks for coming out and doing it. I appreciate it.
Kermit the Frog here. Yeah, thank you for having us on today on this show.
You too, Kermit. Thanks for coming out. That's pretty good, dude. That's really good.
Oh man, and we kept that was a fucking like almost a half hour like interview thing.
Really?
It was a whole bit, and it was all improvised. Nothing was fucking scripted.
And I think that's why if you do listen to
I'm gonna go back and listen to that, dude.
The laughter that you hear is generic because, like I said, it was not scripted. We didn't plan. We just said, okay, our other co-host is gonna ask us questions.
Yeah.
So he did it, and we improv the whole thing. But because we didn't know what we were gonna say, he's laughing, I'm laughing, and we're just trying so hard not to break character. And there's a moment where I'm almost breaking character, but I just made it seem like I'm crying.
Yeah.
But I cried in character.
And you would have probably heard me more laughing, but because I was in another room with the board op guy, he would mute me. So like so you could kind of hear me in the background of their mics, but if not, you would have fucking. And when we're in the second interview is in a car, we're recording in a car. Oh, yeah. That one, we're just fucking laughing because we keep like making each other laugh. But it's just like one of those like original good episodes.
So this one was in your guys' studio?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So like what we did is like he's on camera because we had it like this, like the way it's set up. He was on camera and then we just had pictures of Miss Piggy and Kermit. It says on the phone because we would submit things. So when people are at home and watching us, and I know his buddy Jonathan, who's like we have like a kind of fan base that like throughout the years, the Dieters is another one and shit. Yeah. Like he hit him up and he was like, dude, this is like one of the funniest fucking segments or episodes I've ever had of you guys, and that's why like I had to fucking post it. Like
that was the episode at that time where I found out who was really listening because of that. Like other episodes, yeah, people were listening, but no one ever kind of like texted me or left me a comment saying like, "Oh, dude, a good show tonight" or whatever. But that happens, and then just left and right, everyone was just like, "Dude, that shit was funny!" Like, man. And then when we uploaded, the comments started all happening again. I'm like, "Oh, thank you for listening."
Yeah,
damn, dude. So how long after did you post that? been a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was when I must have posted it last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because if you saw, the scroll.
That's a good long while, dude.
Well, they're doing a new Muppets movie. So
Yeah,
maybe
we got
should do it
the
again.
Muppet Show on Disney. No lie, I thought of that. I was looking at the trailer and I'm like, we gotta fucking do it again. But yeah,
Were you
fucking.
guys like this as kids? Like, did you guys always like?
Well, yeah, it's
Interesting.
kind of why the podcast really started because my brother and I, when it came to
Little brother.
yes, we would do all the fucking geek related content and films. Like that's why we were latchkey kids. So when my parents worked, I was taking care of him. So and fucking the days before internet and shit. Like how do I entertain a little kid? So it's like, all right. So I would do like fake movie theaters and shit like that, like where he had to go buy a ticket, and then he would go to like the
Oh, that's cool.
certain things we would like. I just to entertain him, but we would watch a ton of movies. Also, too, in 5th grade, I developed this fucking fear of zombies, so I couldn't sleep at night. So every night I would wake his ass up. So, because I was like afraid because of the nighttime, and then have him like watch movies. So we watch like Rockadoodle and shit like that over and over. So yeah, so we just like, and as we continue to grow up, he enjoyed like the music I listened to. He started liking it. And obviously, he branched off to his own stuff, but we just had like this connection different compared to my older brother.
Yeah, I think I want to say by the time either 7th, 8th grade, for me, that's when the whole pop culture thing really took off. And I want to say for sure by 8th freshman year, because I Love the 80s came out.
Oh, yeah.
So when
early 2000s.
the early 2000s, when I Love the 80s came out, like then he was like, oh man, no, I want to really tell you about the 80s. So I'm watching this and I'm like learning that pop culture, but then he's telling me that. And then just it blew up for us because he was always taking me to the movie theater. So we were always constantly watching movies like almost every other Friday. And then at the time, there was these 2 websites that we were always reading movie reviews.
Yeah.
Latino Review and Ain't It Cool News.
Yeah.
So we were always like, dude, did you see on Ain't It Cool? Like we were always sharing stuff left and right. So when we did do the podcast, when we started the podcast, it made sense to just keep it in that realm because that's what we've always been talking about. Even before the podcast, like when we lived together, he got home from work or I got home from work or whatever it was, we would just be like talking about, oh, did you see the new trailer?
Yeah.
Or just the movie sheet for whatever it came out. Like that's how we talk.
So it was pretty much like your guys' like brother relationship, but put a mic in front of you guys and
pretty much.
there it was.
Whether it was talking about comics, movies or gaming, like that's what it was that we were talking about. And I mean, think about it. Imagine if we would have had a podcast about wrestling back in the day too, because we were watching it during the Attitude Era, and our house was the house that had the illegal cable that
So
all the
everybody
neighborhood
would
kids came.
all the pay-per-views and
Yeah.
stuff. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was just one of those things. And then we were already,
Why did you guys invite me, dude? We should have been friends a long time ago.
right? But he like and we also love podcasts because we would be like, hey, did you listen to that episode?
Yeah.
So when I found out his buddy made podcasts, I hit his buddy up like, oh, we got to learn. And I told him like, we got to start a podcast. And then we're like, oh, what the fuck do we name it? And like, yeah, it's like, I know we're brothers, but it was like, it became with the whole Bears thing. One was when I was a kid, it's a character from Disney called Humphrey B. Bear. And it's from the In the Bag. That's where our theme song comes from. Is that where fucking the ranger, there's a mess and he wants the bears to fucking clean up. So they gives them bags and they start doing this little dance and shit. And it's fucking, I love that thing growing up. Also, too, when he mentioned the bears thing, he went to the zoo and they saw a polar bear. And the bear was fucking asleep and they're trying to like get it to wake up, for the kids and shit. Bear didn't give a fucking 2 shits about them. So when I was always fucking tired and wanting to take naps, he would call me a polar bear. Like, oh, he's the polar bear. And that's kind of where the Mr. Bear. So when we decided to do the show, I'm like, we should just call it Brothers Bear Podcast. And then it's in, at the end, I was inspired by a lot of podcasts, but one of them was the Frosty, Heidi, and Frank show. Now I think it's just Heidi and Frank, but back when I would listen to that, and at the end of the show, they would...
So what, KCAL, right?
No, they're on fucking KLOS or some shit like that
KLOS.
now. But back when, they used to be on 97.1.
Talk radio.
Yeah. So at the end of the show, they would just start saying apologies to like all the topics they brought up. And then he would end. He's like, you really have to listen to the whole show because, and when you hear like, why did they apologize to that? So I kind of took a riff on that, and I would say like, you know, you got to listen to what's in the bag because that's the title of that old Disney short. So it's like we would just write the title like in the description, whatever we talked about, the topics, and it says you know you have to listen to find out what's in the bag, and then I kind of took on like that. So that became kind of our thing in the bag, you know, Brothers Bear Podcast, and that's been our show fucking since then.
Damn, dude. So what's the but you said that you added like the component of you guys as fathers now. Like what does that entail?
Well, we tell stories about how now we're dads now.
Yeah,
and,
so
you
it's
know.
like I'll mention like it's still within that same realm. Like I talked about how I showed my kids the Iron Giant for the first time.
Okay.
And I talked about that experience and how like that was the first time where I saw my daughter react to like the I can't even think of the word, but just understanding the theme of death.
Oh.
When the deer gets shot and the giant kind of like reacts to it. And I remember looking at my daughter, I'm just like, we're watching the movie and my son's kind of paying attention, but not really. I don't know if he had his tablet or whatever it was. And I look at my daughter and I just hear sniffling, like, and I looked, I'm like, oh my God, she understands what's happening. And that was the first time she knew what like the theme of it. And I'm legit seeing my daughter cry for something of seeing that. And I wasn't ready for it because I thought she's just going to watch and be like looking at something, but not really understanding it. And I talked about that on the show. So we like went on to this whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's other things. Like, I mean, that's where we talk about where it's like, we'll mention something with whatever happened with the kids, or I just introduced them into this or this and that. But
yeah,
that's not the show, but it just, we do reference.
Yeah, because we're, you know, fatherhood.
Right.
So, of course, it's like, oh, did you see this movie? No, I was trying to watch it, but I was so tired I fell asleep because I was watching the kids or whatever.
Man.
So we do mention how but it still revolves around nostalgia.
Yeah, it's like movies that I would want to see now, like I haven't. But if you tell me all the kids' movies that are out now, like, yeah, I've seen them all because of, you know.
But it also makes it relatable to the audience, right? Because your audience has like listened
up with us,
grown up with you guys, and maybe their fathers too, or their mothers. So you're making you still have the component of the show, but you add that little extra relatability to it because we've all grown, right?
Do you think that if you guys, because I know you were saying like you go over his house and then you end up not recording, you know, because kids and distractions and other things. Do you think if you guys would get back into a studio, it would be easier and more consistent for you guys, or you think it'd be the same?
Well, scheduling would be a bitch, but you know, because that's always the hardest thing. Is like, I mean, if we had a studio, that'd be awesome, but. I mean, I don't know. Shit. We always get asked though but at this point we have to pay, and I'm like, I don't want to pay. I'm like, no. Back when it was easier, we didn't have to. But the guy, one of the board ops, he's at a new place, and he'll always hit me up like, hey, you guys want to do the show? And we're like,
well, that's why we're gonna get McDonald's. That's
yeah, fucking cover for them. You know,
that McDonald's money coming in. McDonald's they need a studio. Got to get them a studio, McDonald's.
Yeah, I think that's what it is too. It's just, I mean, I don't feel like we're at that level that we could easily get the sponsors like we did once. Like maybe probably like 2 places I can think of that would say yes, but I don't know, you know. And yeah, I just wouldn't want to have to pay out of pocket just to be in a studio.
Yeah, I'd rather pay the $15 a month just to fucking have the server and the host the podcast than go fucking pay for a studio. Plus, it gives us the freedom, and whenever we're available, we record. We're not set on the schedule and be like, shit. Like, and
because I loved our engineer who helped us, like who did our show. But when times he wasn't there was another guy that was kind of in charge, and he pressed the soundboard for like everything.
Yeah,
and like we would make a funny joke, and then he wanted to add to it, and then he would just push like the dumbest soundboard to it, and then it just felt like the joke was stupid. Now, oh my God damn it! Like I didn't want to be funny whenever he was there because he just pressed like anything.
Yeah.
Dang. So they had like extra people in there while you guys were doing the studio. Like They had a sound engineer. Who else? Like a camera person too, or what?
No, he mainly did everything. But
he did everything.
There was a guy like a room over. I don't know if that was their place or their company or whatever, because they were technically like a studio / printing business or something like that.
Excuse me.
So that's what he took care of when he wasn't like dealing with our show.
Yeah, shout out to DJ Slim. He was the guy that was basically would run the show, help us run the show, I guess. Set up the cameras, I give him all the pictures, he put them on screen, so whatever we talk about.
He was on top of it, dude. He knew what he was doing.
Sound bites, all that shit. Like he knew when to, and he still hits us up to this day. Like, oh, I'm at a new place, come over here. You know, but he always talks about the old owner, who's the guy he mentioned about press buttons and shit. Like he's like, oh yeah, that guy's a fucking idiot. Like, you know, it's like he didn't know what he was doing. He run that place into the ground. Like, you know, I mean, we were the highest rated fucking show there, and they kicked us off to bring some girl on who was like getting like maybe 1,000 views, where we were hitting like 8,000 to 9,000 views every Monday night. Fucking Monday Night Football was going on, and yet some people were still fucking tuning in for us. Like we were hitting all these high views, and they didn't know what to fucking do. Like they really had no idea how to run a station. So they fucking it would be like you getting all these views, right? And then people are going to use like, well, you got to figure out. Usually, like if you have a company where like what's that Theo or whatever?
Oh, My Grito,
right? They're gonna work on getting all the stuff for you, the sponsors, all this and that, because now you're a part of that company. Well, here they want you to do the whole fucking job.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, we're part of them, but it's like, no, you need to go out and you need to make the calls. It's like, why? Like I'm the talent. Like I'm bringing you all these views. You know, we don't know how to fucking do that shit. Like, we're not businessmen. They were, but they wouldn't do it. So it's like,
yeah, we're going to like car dealerships.
Yeah, like, anybody I knew had a business, I was fucking, hey, you wanna? I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Pizza place.
Yeah, I knew someone that did Zumba. I'm like, hey, you want to fucking advertise and shit like that?
I mean, like, luckily we had friends who own a comic book shop, so we're like, they bought. You know, they helped us out for that.
Yeah,
but
and then my college, our old college.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I did a video for them, and right away they're like, yeah, here's fucking some money.
Really?
Yeah.
So like, if it wasn't for those two, like, connections, we probably would have not had sponsors.
Yeah.
So they were doing all that stuff for you too, aside from having the studio.
No, they weren't doing shit.
Oh,
that's it. Like
they
weren't
just gave us a place to record, but
the owners,
like everything else,
so they weren't doing that.
Yeah, they didn't know what to do, and because once you hit a certain level, and then we went viral with our cosplay, they were like, "Ooh, these guys are rich now."
Were you doing the cosplay too?
Yeah, Darth Vato.
Really?
Yeah.
You look different.
Well, my face is hidden, dude.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I wanted. The reason why I chose Darth Vader to cosplay is because I didn't want to be known. Like, I wanted privacy.
Are you okay? It's like, it doesn't look like your face. Well, no shit.
I know you're fucking wearing
bandana.
Yeah, and shades.
Well, shades are
I'm
gone.
fine. I'm fine now. I need to breathe.
What was that? The cheeseburgers you ate from McDonald's?
Dude, I think there was something in there. They changed the
Yeah,
recipe.
you got those meat sweats.
I know. Fucking his glasses are all fogging up.
They
and
added
shit.
something in there, dude. I'm never eating from that
Which
place
one did you
again.
go to?
Right?
Don't go to that one.
Don't go to the one on Grand and Edison.
Yeah.
They put something in there.
So
oh my god!
If you if like for the fans, like your fans are tuning in, watching, Brothers Bear. If you listen to it now, it's pretty much like I said, the nostalgia. But a lot of it is where Carlos. A lot of it's and I'm just laughing my ass off because that's kind of what the show is. Like I jump in, but a lot of it's like I let Carlos control kind of the show on that, and tell the stories, and I just laugh. Because it's literally you'll hear me laughing a lot. Him telling stories and stuff like that.
Yeah, see, the difference too about then and now is that I was sober back then. Like I didn't drink, I didn't smoke. So a lot of these stories now are about like me being high and watching like that one.
Go to the Brothers Bear Instagram. It's just on the Because I recently posted all our video like clips that I was able to edit. See, that was another thing too. If I didn't have the kid, I'd be posting little edited clips. That one, Jurassic World on weed.
Gotta hit the volume.
Bro, I was like, this is getting intense. Just seeing dinosaurs dying left and right. It's like, oh shit. And I was like, no, there goes Sarah. There goes Spike. Not Ducky. And then at the end, it's just like you see them watching and you just see that cloud and you kind of get like the silhouette. And then you see the little foot go or whatever. Why? This is my childhood.
Yeah, you see it going, and it's almost like it's saying, like, wait. Please wait. And then the cloud, and you see the shadow of it in it, and then you obviously can see the lava, and then it's like, and then they almost... So yeah, so it's shit like that where I'm just laughing. He's telling the stories, you know, because it's like with 88, you know, Freddie doesn't. He's just I'm the one that's kind of like having to control the show, and he chimes in and stuff like that. Here, it's like, you know what, like I'll let Carlos run the show, and I'll just laugh and allow him to talk. So like, there's a bunch of other clips where he's telling stories and shit like that. But that was like that came up because, and if you jump in the episode 1, he starts talking about that he started, you know, crying on Jurassic World, and I'm like, why? I didn't understand it. And he starts talking, that's when it hits me. I'm like, oh fuck, I know why. And then he starts telling the story, and I knew exactly where he was going. I'm like, it's that fucking dinosaur. But he saw it on weed. So there's just like, you know, it's like the anniversary Coachella is happening right now. So we start talking about Coachella, like in this episode 2, and
just happened this weekend, and then next weekend too. Right?
Yeah. So we talk. He tells some stories about Coachella. Also, too, it's kind of cool because we get to like tell old stories because the episodes don't exist anymore. So it's like we get a kind of refresh. Plus, it's like a refresher of our memories. But yeah, it's like it's a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing I do like too. That kind of with the reset is whatever we've told, any of the stories that we told in the past, we get to tell them again because they're gone. So it's like, did I say this before? But sometimes I'm like, dude, I don't care. I'm gonna retell it. You know, might change it up a little bit, but I'm still gonna tell the same story.
What does your older brother think of all this? Do you usually do you have him on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on. He's on. Fucking. I mean, usually in the beginning, he's not in there.
I thought he was bringing donuts. What happened?
He is.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's coming.
You sure?
Yeah.
You serious?
I'm being serious, man.
Okay.
Yeah, he's coming. But yeah, usually in the beginning of the episodes, he's usually not around. So he tells me why he's running late. And
what kind of donuts is he bringing?
I don't know if I can.
Okay. Is that donut spot around the corner?
From right there? Yeah.
That's very good. Mana donuts right there.
Okay,
yeah.
because when the first time I drove by, I was like, "Oh man, those donuts are good."
They're really good.
I went there last time when I was on the show. I stopped there and got the fucking dozen. I'm like, "Oh fuck, they're good." No, but he loves it.
What was it? Oh, your older brother. That's right.
Yeah. No, he thinks it's cool. You know.
Yeah.
He was in the original first promo image of the picture. He was in it, and but then I changed it where I did the cartoon heads of all three of us, me and the other guy, because I kind of wanted like a sticker style picture. And now obviously he's gone, so it's just my head and his head. I mean, it was on the Brothers Bear thing, you could see. I did update the logo because it's like now people find podcasts based on like the name, and Brothers Bear doesn't really tell you much. So a lot of the images, like every single cover for every episode, I have our cartoon heads in it.
Right.
So I just added that to the fucking thing in the background now. I mean, it's like, oh, like, you know, so when you look at Brothers Bear and you happen to see the image, I'm like, hey, that seems interesting. I want to check that out.
Yeah. Does your parents ever listen to it?
Nah.
No.
No.
Well,
do you ever
we used to
do they
the
know?
live show. Yeah,
Actually, yeah. When we did the live show,
Yeah?
they would just turn it on and have it there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so they would watch it because I know my dad fucking was crazy about it.
Our dad would actually listen to it, and he would kind of give feedback, but not really give feedback. Because I talked about that too, where my dad was a radio DJ.
Yeah.
So that's where he kind of like, you gotta hold the mic like this, or you gotta pronounce like that's the only feedback he would ever tell me.
Well,
that's
that's
like
pretty positive feedback, right?
Just pronounce words or whatever. But as for he would say, he's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about, but it looks like you know what
it looks funny.
Yeah, that's it. My mom just I don't know, dude. I've always felt like our mom never really understood what we were doing. Like it was just like, yeah, if there was no money involved or whatever, it's just they're having fun, but that's it. But like it was nothing serious. Like if we were like freaking in the NBA or NFL or anything like that,
Baseball
like that, baseball or anything like that, that's where she's like, oh my kids,
Soccer players,
like that's where she'll like shine on us. But like, they do stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Because I remember in 6th grade, I was all about making home movies and shit like that, and I wanted to make movies. And I remember my mom, it's like, "Oh, I signed you up for baseball." No, but I want to be able to like make movies with my friends and stuff. I was like, I already had one that I was gonna start shooting, and then my mom's like, why? That's just wasting your time. You need to play baseball." I was like, what the fuck? I was like, and obviously it's different now, but it's like back when she didn't.
How is it different now? Is it more accessible to children
it just shows that you can have a career that, especially now.
Oh, okay.
Seeing that, like back when, it's just like it's a waste of time. You're just filming with your friends, not realizing that you could have a career in that.
Yeah.
So that's why
I mean, now it's a lot easier than before.
Shit,
you know?
I know. I was fucking had a VHS camera, like doing all my little videos and stuff, stop motion and all these things. It's like now, fucking, you could do a whole movie on your phone.
That's like one thing, like that. I'm for myself. I'm really pushing on my kids of like as they get older, I'm gonna be like, dude, create, like just be creative, do this and that, you know, because I never felt that they didn't want us to be ourselves, but at the same time, I just felt like that's us doing what we did wasn't good enough. Basically, like they supported, but at the same time, it was like, oh, it's okay.
You know why? Because freaking my older brother, that fool was like a sports star. So he was the one, especially in baseball.
He set the bar, basically.
Yeah, fucking high. So that guy, anywhere they wanted him, he would fucking go. Like we were driving everywhere every weekend because he would like sub in for other teams around fucking LA and shit. So he would go and like he was like the best player fucking at the time, like always. And
my brother went to school with the damn it, he's not on the Dodgers anymore, but the redhead. I'm blanking on his name.
Fernando Valenzuela.
Oh wait, none of you guys know. You forgot. You guys don't know baseball. Never mind.
No. Isn't he the Kershaw?
No, not Kershaw.
Mike Piazza.
Damn it!
I have an LA hat, but I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Bothering me.
It looks good on me. That's it.
Yeah.
But he went when he was actually trying out for Fullerton. He was there, so he knew him before he got to like way before he got to the Dodgers.
What about Nomo? Is he still pitching?
I don't think so.
McDonald's sponsorship.
Shit. Ah, man, fuck.
What about he wasn't a pitcher.
He was a third baseman. I'm like blanking on his name.
Last name Rodriguez?
No.
Dreads?
I think he's in Boston now.
Oh. Redhead? I don't know.
He's a ginger. I don't know.
Nah, it doesn't matter.
Someone listening is going to be like, what?
Yeah.
And you're a Dodger fan.
They're screaming at us right now.
I mean, like that was the one thing we rarely talked sports ever on our show. Every now and again, Dodgers would pop up because they were both him and our old co-host. They were Dodgers fans, and you know, I would chime in as the person who doesn't know sports, so I would come in and try to tell some related stuff. But you know, that was the one thing.
Justin Turner. I just remember.
Oh,
yeah. He went to school with him, so he knew him. Like, so I remember when he got to the Dodgers, my brother's like, "Oh, I went to school with him. Like, we both tried out." I was like, "Damn, dude, my brother could have been a Dodger."
Yeah, but he went into the army right when he turned 18. He chose. Military,
really?
Yeah. Went career and all that. So
dang.
That's why if people were like, "Oh, what happened? Why you go into baseball? Hurt his knee?" That's why he's not. You know, that's always a story. Like, "Oh, I could have fucking been a contender, but I fucked up my knee." No,
Yeah.
he just said, "You know what?"
Amber has an uncle like that.
Oh, really?
He would have been in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Well, I know my uncle Rico. He would have been a fucking star if they would have just played him at the end of the game.
Yeah.
There it is.
Dude, how was that interview, by the way, with the actor from
the fucking
what's his name?
Ramirez?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did that go?
The interview, we've done the interview with him. So instead it was this time we were gonna talk movies, and it was actually just Gremlins. The only thing is I haven't posted that episode because I wanted to. Because all right, here's the thing: there's moments where sometimes my wife has to come in and save the episode, and what I mean by that is like we don't talk about the movie. So I don't want to do a false advertising where like someone's gonna come in and because sometimes we just go off to left field. Mm-hmm. So if I'm promoting a certain film, I want the people to tune in. So we haven't had the opportunity to record because we didn't really fully talk about Gremlins. Like we started talking about Depeche Mode and shit. So we went to left field, and it wasn't an interview. It was just more us three of us talking.
Carlos, were you on that one?
No.
Or was it
he was
just
supposed to.
I was supposed
you and
to.
Freddie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Carlos was supposed to, but I can't remember why he wasn't able to make it.
You guys changed the timing.
Yeah. No, it was because it was fucking last minute. Yeah, and I had a birthday party that day, and I was like, yeah, let's make it in the evening, and then obviously I don't know.
Oh, that was the day I did the first time I did
You guys were at Chuck E. Cheese.
Was it?
Yeah. Because I was at a birthday party myself and I had to leave.
Oh, yeah, I was
and
at
the
Chuck
only
E.
way I
Cheese.
didn't feel like an ass was just to be like, oh, I'm going to interview Efren, from Napoleon. I was like, what? Yeah, go do it. But fucking, I mean, it was good, but it wasn't, like, if you're going in and I put it like, oh, Gremlins, you're going to be disappointed because we didn't fully talk about Gremlins. You're like, oh, okay, you're still going to enjoy the episode. And also, too, it's the 200th episode, so I'm going to have all the sound clips from other people's shows and shit. But, like, that's why, like, usually my wife will jump in and we'll do like the actual episode, and we haven't had the time to record. But yeah, so that's the thing. And once I get her, then it'll be like a full on like 2-hour episode.
Whoa.
Yeah. So it's 200, but I think 88 is gonna officially end though, because like Freddie doesn't have like the time to record. Like our schedule changed, but he goes on tour, but also too he's like in a new relationship, so he's out with her a lot. And I'm like, oh yeah,
I noticed.
Yeah, you noticed that. So I feel like Freddie's gonna like, he's like, oh, I don't have time because he's he got some new lady in his life. So it's one of those where
I forgot. I was like, she changed her hair. I'm like, oh, that's not the same girl. I was like, whoops.
So I feel like the 200th, even though I posted it as an April Fool's joke saying 88, that's the final episode.
Oh yeah, I seen that. I was like, what the
shit,
F?
I told my wife the only way the show would continue if she jumps in which people tend to message me being like, oh, your wife is so funny, this and that. So I mean, if she's down to keep, 88 will continue. If not, I'm not gonna find another host. Like I'm not. It's just it'll end, and then
So if it's not your wife,
I'm not gonna find. No,
88
will be just.
You think
done.
your wife would?
Well, I told her she's down to record every now and again. Like, yeah, and we've done some like really funny, fucking hilarious episodes. So, but like my focus right now, I'm with Brothers Bear. Like since 88's not going in, it's like, oh, got to push up Brothers Bear back up. I'm with Carlos. He's doing a lot more shows and stuff like that, and he'll be like, when people ask, like, hey, or no, when they bring him in, they're like, and host of the Brothers Bear podcast. It's like, gotta have some content. So
it's funny when
got some credits on there.
Whenever I tell them, it's like, you got any credits? I'm like, yeah, Brothers Bear podcast, and they always butcher the name. It's like, oh, this guy's on the Bear podcast. This guy's on the Brothers. The Brothers podcast.
Yeah.
It's like Brothers Bear. And I was like, God damn it, dude. Like,
yeah, I asked you for your credits before I called you on, and I didn't even say anything.
It's like,
that's why, like, I made him some shirts just in case.
My bad, by the way. Sorry about that.
Dude,
I mean, shit, we're on IMDb.
I'm a terrible host. Oh, on
yeah, we're on
really?
IMDb. Yeah, if you type in like Santos Medrano, Carlos Medrano, we're under Brothers Bear podcast.
Really? Look it up. I want to see that.
Yeah, go to IMDb.
It sucks that I'm technically in another film, but I never got the credit for it.
Right?
Because when I was going to Citrus College, they would always film movies there. And they asked, like, they put, like, the sign everywhere if anybody wants to be, like, an extra in a film. And I remember there was this movie called Get That Girl. I think it came out. I don't know how well or if it was, like, an indie success. But there's this movie called Get That Girl. And I honestly want to buy it just to see if I did come out in the background.
Right there. See, Carlos Medrano, writer of the Brothers Bear podcast.
Oh, yeah.
You got to add photos, dude. And
well, you got to pay for that shit.
oh, you do?
Yeah, see? Brothers Bear podcast, where actually Brothers Bear is listed as an actual credit. So if you click Brothers Bear, it'll show the technically the 4 of us. I mean, the 3 of us watch.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the
See,
old logo's right there.
Stars.
All right, we
bro.
better pay for it just so we could edit.
Oh, I know. We gotta fucking get rid of that. But yeah, we're on. I got actually 2 credits because I was in a short film, for the Back to the Future. The during COVID, we had to do the homemade version. So that I have actually 2 credits.
Oh,
on
really?
IMDb. Yeah. So my name, if you click my name, it pops up twice. Like I was like, oh shit. Oh, you could just continue going because if you go to Brothers Bear, you click that.
Shows up.
Yeah, you click Brothers Bear and you just click my name because it's highlighted right there.
Oh yeah.
It shows you have no credits.
Right? See, there it goes. Project 88, Back to the Future 2.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Project 88.
and I'm on there. Ah, shit.
That's cool.
But yeah, man. I mean, one of the categories for sure, aside from nostalgia, I say our show's a comedy podcast.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We're not like trying to, like, if you're going in and because we do talk about movies, movie reviews, and that's where it sometimes tend to get serious because we're all about film, like, and you know the way we see kind of film the same way. Like if he loves it, I know I'm gonna love it, and vice versa. That's where we kind of tend to get serious, but we'll still be joking. But the whole show is not just, hey, remember this? Yeah, and no, we're actually trying to be like funny. Like it's a comedy podcast. It's always been like, and hence the reason why when we did the Muppets thing, like we wanted to entertain and be funny. You know,
Has it gotten like really serious at one point? Like maybe like an
Yes.
argument or something like that?
No, the only seriousness is like in the reboot we did do a Pixar episode.
Yeah.
And that's where I got serious about the loss of my son. So that does get like a serious episode.
That's probably like the only time we ever got like that serious.
Yeah.
Because even I was like, I can't be funny right now. like,
Yeah.
and I wasn't even like when. Yeah, that's the thing. Like this, dude, you have an idea what you want to ask us, but at the same time, you could ask one question and it can go anywhere.
Yeah.
you know, that's the whole purpose of like interviewing or just that flow. If you're going, you know, not premeditated or anything like that, it just that natural flow. So when he started talking about it, I didn't know. I kind of knew he was going to talk about it, but I didn't know he was going to go that deep. You know, like I had an idea of like, okay, this is what the topics. But when we got into the film, I just did not expect him to go that like thorough, and I didn't know what to say. Like I remember one of my friends when they were listening to that podcast, they're listening to it, and they're like, "Dude, Carlos, go on, say something," because I was just like it's happening right in front of me, but I didn't know, like, because I'm hearing it, even though I know it. I've been there with him as all this was happening, but it was still like, damn, dude. Like I felt like I was like a fan or a listener just taking this in for the first time because of just the emotion of being that, you know, vulnerable, and not just for myself, but this is going for everybody to listen, you know?
Yeah.
And that was, I mean, that should have just made us the podcast right there. That should have been like, there's this guy who made, you know, like, yeah, everyone should have been like hearing and like, man, dude, like, there's this guy talking about, you know, that could have blew up into one thing, or to see how we were able to be funny previously, and then we get serious, and then right after that, we kind of like, the tone kind of changes for a little bit,
Yeah,
but
we lighten
then
the mood.
But then we go right back into like the humor, you know, like it's that roller coaster basically, like because you never know. Like we could be serious, but we still try to be funny at the same time. You know, there are moments where when we need to, we'll address things or we'll talk about whatever. We've never gone anything like political. We never gone anything, you know,
religious.
Yeah.
I'll make references, I'll make jokes about it, but I've never poked fun on people's beliefs or anything like that. It's just of what's happened, you know. Like I mean, you know, like when I've done your open mics, like I poke fun at stuff, but it has to retain to myself. I'm never gonna make fun of somebody else's like stuff, you know. And that's how it is with the podcast, where it has to relate to us, and that's how we're able to make fun of it.
Exactly, and we still kept it within film because we were the story, even though it lost my son, I still related it to a film because we were talking about Inside Out, so the Pixar film.
Oh, yeah.
And so it was like we still have that connection. So we're not just talking about real life. Everything we talk about that show, we still relate it in some way to
film.
Something film or a cartoon or TV, whatever, a show. Our goal is always just to entertain, to have fun. And, for us to catch up because we have that, save it for the show, because there's stuff, I literally have a list of stuff I want to tell him, but I'd rather have it fresh on the show and not, I tell him and then we fake it. I don't want that. I want his reaction to be genuine.
Real reaction.
So there's
to
like
what you're
stuff
talking
I
about.
want to tell him, but I just like, fuck, I'm going to save it for the show.
That's why when you first walked in, you guys didn't say anything to each other. You're waiting for the conversation to happen now.
Thinking about it, that's how it was, because when we would meet on Monday, we would stay quiet until the fucking show, and then I'm like, all right, finally I can say what I want.
Ring the bell now.
Yeah. So
Kermit the Frog here.
Well, Kermit the Frog, why don't you do our outro? That'd be pretty funny. No, just kidding. You don't have to do that. Tell us thanks for coming out, guys.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
I really appreciate it. Go ahead and tell us about your podcast.
Or where we can find podcasts.
Or where we can find you and any shows coming up. So
you can find us on the Brothers Bear podcast on Instagram and on all the other social medias. We're on Spotify and iTunes. I have my Oh, wait, I don't have another podcast. My other Instagram is Medrano_comedy for my comedy shows, and then also that's linked up as well for the Brothers Bear.
Yeah, on the Instagram, I think is it the Brothers Bear podcast? There's no I don't know. Click Instagram.
No, it's just Brothers Bear podcast. I messed up on that.
Is it? Yeah,
Brothers
Bear podcast. There's two out there because some guy from years ago created a page with our name. I don't know why.
Oh,
yeah. Remember you said that to me, but
you guys got to get verified. It's only $14 a month on Instagram.
But yeah, anywhere you listen to podcasts, especially Spotify or Apple Podcasts, the Brothers Bear podcast. Tune in. One of our favorite episodes is Biopic. That's probably one of our favorite. They're all good, honestly. I mean, there's a serious one. We did a holiday episode that was fucking hilarious. That one was good too. The Magic Voyage, right? Yeah. It's just really good to see WWE. It's a nostalgia podcast, and I don't know, man. You just gotta tune in. It's comedy. If you enjoy nostalgia comedy, especially from the 90s.
Yeah, if you want to listen for our podcast for the first time, just listen to the Biopic episode, and then from there, just go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, then just jump to episode 1. They're all good.
Thanks, man.
The Mind Buzz.
Peace and love.